And so the more and more that we can remind ourselves that we are doing a good job. The reason you're here, the reason you're watching this right now is because you're awesome. You're concerned about yourself as a mom, as a person. You want to improve. Well, if you weren't here, if you weren't even watching this, I'd be a little bit more concerned. Like, I mean, first of all, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you've got other ways to handle this, and that's fine. But what if you were just like a mom who was not wanting to improve and not wanting to become a better mom and not wanting to silence the mom guilt so that you could move forward? Well, that isn't you. You are an amazing mom, and that's why you're here. So you got to start believing it if you don't. Now, maybe you're 100% confident and you totally believe that, and you're like, what is she talking about? Well, you're still in the right place, because so many of us moms, so many of all the moms, me, I mean, so many moms, we have so many things we want to accomplish and so many goals. And then how do we choose and how do we focus? And a lot of times that's our mom guilt. Like, why aren't you making any progress on this? You should be doing this. You should be doing, well, you're a confident mom, but you still have that mom voice or that mom guilt in your head or that inner critic. So remind yourself, you are doing a good job. So to recap, thank you for sticking with me this long. There's sweat dripping down my back because it is really hot here in the camper. I'm in the country, I told you, in Penrose, Colorado, and it's probably like 90 degrees right now, and there's no air conditioning in the camper. But why am I in the camper? Well, because my husband's working in the shop next door, and my younger son is inside, and we have a small house, so I wanted some privacy with you out here. So that's why I'm in the camper, and I'm sweating bullets just for you. So we're going to recap what we talked about. The first thing I want you to do, if you haven't done it yet, hopefully you have done it, and you did it as we went along. But if you haven't done it, the first thing you need to do is write down the 3 things that your mom guilt most commonly tells you. I mean, it probably tells you like 20 things, or 100. But I just want you to write down the first 3. Number 2, I want you to figure out a phrase that works best for you. You could use "good job, mom," or you could use something else. Number 3, I want you to write your phrase on 3 sticky notes or 3 pieces of paper that you tape around the house. And I want you to stick them in 3 places in your house where you are most likely to see them. And then number 4, I want you to practice the 3 count breath. I'm going to do it right now. And number 5, I want you to remind yourself that you are doing a good job. You're awesome. Yeah, some days you have bad days. That's okay. I do too. Woo. Some days you have awesome days. But you're doing a good job and you are raising great kids. So just work on believing that if you don't. Now, when the mom guilt strikes, number 1, notice it. Don't ignore it. Don't let that weed grow. Notice it. Number 2, look at your phrase and stop the mom guilt in its tracks. That's like yanking out the weed, baby. Your flower's going to start growing because it's not shaded out by that weed. So yank it out. Number 3, take your deep breath. And number 4, remind yourself that you're doing a good job. Now that you're clear about how to silence the mom guilt, the big question is, how do you become more confident, empowered, and in control? Hands down, the most important key to growth for moms, let me rephrase that. The most important key to growth for moms is to be able to identify and silence the mom guilt so that you can work forward on achieving your one thing, determining what your goal is. Not to say you don't have 17 more goals, but you're going to focus in on one thing. But in order to do that, you've got to silence the mom guilt. Once you can start working towards your one thing, then you're going to become more confident, more empowered, and more in control. So many of us feel like, oh, our self-confidence is too low, or it's lower than we want it to be. We feel like the world is causing all these things to happen and we're out of control, or we feel overwhelmed. So by identifying the mom guilt, by listening to it, by noticing it, by shutting it up, by breathing, and by telling yourself you're doing a good job, you're on the road to becoming more confident, more empowered, and more in control. And without this, without implementing these techniques, it means you're going to keep surviving each day by the skin of your teeth. And I have been there. It doesn't mean that you have to work a lot harder, though. It just means you have to work smarter. What if instead of struggling with the mom guilt and spinning and it just nagging at you and scratching at your brain and causing all this negativity, what if you could get rid of it and become an even more awesome mom? What if you could get a way better result for the same amount of effort? You know, that mom guilt that's been beating you up, and then you're like worried, or you're down, or you're depressed, or you're struggling, or your mind is spending so much time spinning on, oh, which diet should I do, or how should I exercise?